All right, Jovan Will, Terry Hayes, welcome. And why don't you give the attendees of the Digital Life Insurance Agent Mastermind a little bit about both of you, kind of where you guys came from, what you do, so that they can get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, well, if Terry, you're okay with it, maybe I can go first. So, well, first of all, thank you. We really appreciate, Terry and I really appreciate, Jeff, the opportunity to be able to speak with your group. And I think this will be the first time I'm actually getting on a plane in quite some time. So I'm really looking forward to meeting with
Most
people.
people.
So yeah, a little bit about myself. I'm a husband and soon to be father, and very excited about that. I've been in the industry in the annuity space, so to speak, for over the last decade. And quite specifically, I've been focusing on lead generation through the use of digital marketing. And so some of the programs I've been involved with respect to annuity lead generation have been quite successful and have produced hundreds of millions of dollars of annuity business. Our company is called AIM. That's an acronym for Advisor Internet Marketing. And we specialize in helping and working with independent financial advisors that really want to succeed in the digital age. And so the way we actually do that is through done for you digital marketing, as well as very systematic and comprehensive virtual sales training and coaching, which is what Terry's going to be sharing with everyone at the event. And so we actually use a website to educate consumers about annuities. It's called Annuity Gator. It was launched in 2012. And so that's a little bit more about our background in terms of where I came from and what we do today. So
awesome. What about you, Terry?
Yeah. Thanks for having us. I'm excited to be at your mastermind. Well, for me, I started as a financial advisor over 30 years ago. Merrill Lynch actually hired me, took me to Wall Street, and luckily I was trained by some of the smartest minds on Wall Street. And I would owe one thing, or maybe there's a number of things, but one thing to my success, and that is finding something new that's happening in the industry and grabbing a hold of it. And what it was at that time was actually managed money. Before, we were all just stockbrokers selling individual stocks. Well, Merrill Lynch brought institutional money management from Wall Street to Main Street, which was really the precursor to the RIA business, or managed accounts. And if you can find something that's in its infancy, learn about it, grab a hold, and just ride the wave. And that's exactly what I did. I rose to the top of Merrill Lynch. And when that happens, other companies come in and buy you away. Smith Barney came in, bought me away. I took 7 other advisors. We opened up an office right across the street from Merrill Lynch and continued to grow the business. But the interesting thing then that happened is in 2000, and many people will remember this or have heard about it, was the dot-com bust, right? Very similar to what we're going through right now. If you had an IPO that had a .com at the end, they would double on the first day. Very similar to SPACs and things that are going on like Coinbase right now. Well, what happened is during that period, no matter how well diversified your portfolio was in managed money, it took everything down for the next 3 years. But what that did is it caused me to go out and search for the next new thing. Well, what was out there? The next new thing was annuities. Now, why is that important? Because that whole baby boom generation that was accumulating wealth during the 90s in managed money is now getting ready to retire. And what do they want? They want safety or lifetime income. The annuities, like I said, if you can get on it at the beginning, they're now being accepted more than ever. If you can board that train now, you can ride it for the next 10 years. So what we did then is we said, okay, how do we find those new customers? It's not just through a networking event or doing seminars, obviously the internet. And that's when I met Jovan and Fernando, and they were masters at that. And the two came together. They already are out there finding people who have interest in in annuities. Now they're putting us, so that's money in motion, right? So now that I get them on the phone, talk with them, answer their questions, and we do it all virtual. We never have to meet with clients in person. And people say, well, can you really get people to send you 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 over the internet? Are you kidding? We're closing $1.5 million deals in annuities. And again, so what we've done over the last 10 years is perfect the process. We've trained over 100 advisors in our processes, taken people who've just sold life insurance and taken them from no annuities at all to now doing 3, 5, 7, and $10 million of annuity business a year. And it's really a 3-step process. We'll walk through this at the program. Very excited to show you.
And that's awesome. And that's why I'm excited to hear from both of you. I was just telling you before we hit record on this that I never thought that in my wildest dreams that you can sell an annuity over the phone, right? And that's a huge myth out there. Not only that, you guys are generating leads. People are putting their information online, through your process that you guys have that you're going to outline at the mastermind. Not only that, they're stroking checks for, like you said, up to $1.5 million plus, based on talking to somebody over Zoom, right? That's something that I'm very excited about learning about, and I know there's a lot of people there as well. Can you kind of touch on what you'll be covering at the mastermind?
Yeah, so I mean, when I first got started in lead generation about a decade ago or so, I guess it'd be 2009, 2010, I think we were probably the first group in terms of what we were building from a lead generation standpoint, the first group to build what we would consider to be a funnel. It's funny how the word funnel is thrown around today, and it means a lot of different things, a lot of different people, but 10 years ago, it was basically how do we repurpose a dinner seminar or an actual live in-person presentation and then modify that for the use of people being able to watch it online, sift, sort, pre-sell, pre-qualify people. And essentially that was the origins of what we do here today in terms of getting started. And so what I'm going to be specifically addressing is how lead generation has evolved over the last decade. And it is important to know because I think if you approach digital marketing in 2021 in the same way that we did a decade ago, well, what we're finding is things are far more complicated, far more nuanced. And so I will be addressing what I call funnel structures in terms of a funnel structure is essentially a special website to convert traffic into leads and appointments. And so we have different funnel structures or configurations depending on the traffic source, right? So if someone's on Facebook and they're scrolling through and they're liking kitten videos and interacting with their grandkids, that's a very different prospect than someone that's actively researching annuities online on Google search. Same thing with YouTube. And so what we need to figure out is as digital marketers in this kind of new era of where we're at today, where we're meeting with people virtually, is how do we deliver meaningful content? How do we move people through an online user experience that's meaningful and they feel like they're getting educated, there's credibility and there's trust. And so there's a lot that has to happen behind the scenes in order to make lead generation work today, because it's just a lot more complicated and far more competitive. And so how do we get that advantage? So moving on, and other things we're going to be covering is our framework. And so there's a very specific framework that we use from the actual generating of the traffic, the ads, driving people through funnels, and then how do we actually set up appointments? And so some of that's completely automated, which is pretty exciting, where you could literally automate the ability for people to get booked on the calendar with you as an advisor, and what we call indoctrinate them, which is a way to ethically persuade people and really shift their belief systems in such a way where it's hopefully a more open conversation. We've all been calls where it's a hard sales call and the prospect doesn't want to open up. That's what we're trying to avoid, right? We want to earn the right for people to share with us so we could potentially help them. And then lastly, we're going to cover trends. And that's something Terry's a master at, is really spotting trends. And so there's very specific trends that I think advisors need to be aware of in terms of where I think the next 5 or so years is headed with respect to digital marketing. And we're going to talk about brand building, and as well as how to use private Facebook groups, niche newsletters, and AI is the next big thing with respect to digital marketing. So very excited for the opportunity. I literally haven't been able to share any of this stuff in a public forum in quite some time. And so we're really excited and really honored that you would invite us, Jeff. And so we're really looking forward to the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, we're pumped you guys are coming. We'll keep this thing short, and everybody will see you guys in a week, less than a week, depending on when this thing goes live. So, hey, appreciate you guys. You guys will be there throughout the entire event. Feel free to reach out to Jovan or Terry at the opening party throughout the events. They're good people. Like, you guys will love them. So we'll see you guys there.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jeff.